Good morning. Thank you for coming and taking your time out on this Saturday morning here. This is a very exciting time for me personally because I'm here at this time of year for the past 6 years. I teach at the Point Institute for the Sports Journalism Institute, a program designated to train young minority sports college students who want to have careers in sports journalism. This is my 10th consecutive year leading the boot camp. I'm a graduate of the second class in 1994. We have produced over 250 sports journalists around the country. So this week we gathered at the Point Institute with 11 young minds from around the country here again with me getting boot camp from 6 o'clock in the morning to about midnight, learning the craft of sports journalism. And following their training, they will go off to their paid internships at various news outlets around the country. So it's very exciting to see the young students, and I'm very confident that their futures are very bright. And like their futures, I believe NABJ's future is a bright one. I want to talk about briefly my platform on the 3 M's that I'm focusing on with my platform. That is NABJ's mission, its membership, and its money. When it comes to its NABJ mission, it is clear that we must continue to advocate for black journalists to have opportunities in newsrooms, but not only just opportunities, but opportunities for management. And I can sit here as a deputy sports editor at the Boston Globe. I fight constantly, and it really worked, really paid off in terms of advocating in my own newsroom to the point where we have one of the most diverse sports departments in the country based on my advocacy, not only in my sports department, but advocacy in my entire newsroom. And that carries out around the nation as well. So I'm very focused on and determined to make sure that our members are having opportunities to not only get jobs, but also to advance in them. And in terms of our membership, we must address our current membership needs, given that the entire industry is changing and is dynamic in terms of who is a journalist. We need to make sure that our journalists are being trained and getting the correct and most up-to-date training to make sure that they're still relevant in this game. I am very, very focused on making sure our members are getting that training. And finally, our money. And we must be financially solvent to make sure that our members get the services they deserve, the service that they deserve after paying $100 dues every year, to make sure that NABJ is running, the door is open, but also to make sure that you take advantage of all the opportunities that this association will bring to you with your membership dollars. I'm very excited to be engaged with you today to talk about NABJ's future, and I'm willing and able to answer all questions that you have today. And once again, thank you for coming out today, and that's it.
I'm very happy to be here because this city has a very special place in my heart. It was where I was elected your Vice President Print. I remember the party at the aquarium. I remember hoping that the chapter made money. So money is money is very important. And so I just wanted to say thank you all so much for your hard work that year. And I know you might have read this or that about it, but for me, it was just a golden convention and one of the most memorable. I've been a member for over 20 years. I started in the Los Angeles region at the Black Journalists of Southern California in Los Angeles. I'm a native of Los Angeles, and that got me my very first job in NABJ. Not only did it get me my first job, I got 3 job offers after going to a conference with the Chicano News Media Association in California. I moved on to the Washington Post because of contacts that I made at NABJ. There were great people there, and they said, you know, why don't you come out? Why don't you talk to us? I did, and it was just fantastic. From there, I went to the Philadelphia Inquirer, again, with contacts that I developed through NABJ. They said, hey, you want to be an editor? You want to be a manager? You can be a newsroom leader at Knight Ridder. Well, you know what happened with Knight Ridder, but thankfully I still have my career, and I'm able at this point to help a lot of journalists. One of my primary concerns as your Vice President Print has been to go out and advocate for your jobs. Kathy Times, Bob Butler, and I spend every minute that we are on a conference or a regional visit checking in with people, advocating for jobs, and doing our very best to shore up NABJ. My point about NABJ is one of sustainability. I am in the Philadelphia chapter, and that is where 6 of our original founders got this organization started. And because of those 6 folks, 3 of whom I talk to regularly, I know what the mission was when we started, and I have a vision for how we can continue that mission. That's what's important to me. As your president, I want to grow NABJ as an industry leader. I want to increase the level of respect for our members and their work. I want to inspire effective change And I want every one of you to have a digital brand. That is so important. I've sat on a board with some really great people, and the one thing I've learned is the people who stay employed are the people who have brands. That is very important to your career. A few of my highlights have been mentioned by Eric, and I really thank him for that. I've also been managing the NABJ e-journal. I talk to national news media, including the AP, Politico, Gannett. I think we've made some inroads with Politico during my term as print. If you remember, there was a story Richard Prince had about a year or so ago that said, wow, there are no people of color at the leading Washington news organization in terms of politics, next to the Washington Post, and I have been able to talk to them, and there has been some progress made. I also was one of the initial planners of our very successful Hall of Fame gala. You guys might not have been able to come up to Washington for it, but let me tell you, it made $80,000. When I was in the Washington chapter, I did a dinner that raised $60,000. For our convention in San Diego, I put together several events. One of them was a zoo trip for our student projects. That event was a $15,000 event through friends of mine. So I am very aware of our finances and where we are with our money, but I'm very, very focused on our jobs and also respect for members. I'm running because I don't feel that all of the time you feel respected about your money and your commitment to NABJ. If any of you ever called me when I was national secretary, you will know that I respond. You will know that I believe in transparency. So you can talk to me. You can email me at dchildress1@comcast.net, and I will answer all of your questions. Or you can call me. Even if it's at work, I will step away and take your call because you're important to me. I respect every member, and I would like your vote. Please go online if you haven't already and cast your vote today. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, members of the Tampa Bay Association of Black Journalists. First of all, I want to apologize for not being there. As you probably already heard, I had a son who was taking an SAT test this morning, and it was really important for me to be there for him. But I want you to know that I do have a great fondness for the chapter there down in Tampa. One of my contemporaries is Denise White over at the Fox affiliate. She and I went to college together. Let me talk a little bit about my platform. I call it CAB, credibility, accountability, and vision. On the credibility side, let me talk first and foremost about the fact that every day I wake up with a blank sheet of paper. And I fill it up with so much stuff that I'm usually working on the second page by this time of the day. And that means that I don't just confine myself to one medium. Yes, my regular job is at Maryland Public Television. But this week, let me just give you an idea how my world works. Let's see, I did 2 talk shows, I wrote 4 blogs, and let's see, I tweeted probably about 22 times this week. Not that that's any big thing to Eric Deggans, because he tweets a lot. But the whole idea is that you can't just say you only do one thing in this business. Those days are long gone, and I want to make sure we move in the right direction. The other aspect is the accountability issue. One of the things that we faced when we came on board was a financial, I'm going to call it what it was, a disaster. We were facing major layoffs. We were wondering if not we were going to be able to pay the staff. We took the necessary steps to make sure that this organization is on a sound footing. Let me repeat that. We took the necessary steps to make sure this organization is on a sound footing, because you want us to be good stewards of your money. Trust me, if we're blowing money like drunken sailors, I'm quite certain all of us would be out of office. But what we did was we rolled up our sleeves and we said, let's face this problem head on. You can already see that it came to a happy ending in the fact that we had a major windfall when we went to San Diego. We also had the opportunity to pay off some of the debts in Tampa. Last but not least, I want to talk about vision, because I'm going to guess many of you in this room probably are wondering, what do I do when I'm done with this business? I call it the exit strategy. All of us must have an exit strategy, because at some point you're going to either leave this business or move on to something. I believe one of those exit strategies is overseas. And what I mean by that is I get a lot of calls from people from Paris, from Canada, from Toronto, and wherever, that says, hey, we want to be a part of NABJ. Here's where you come in. I want to send you out as an ambassador to NABJ. I want you to spread the message. And guess what? I want to pay you, because I believe if you spread our message, you ought to get compensated for it. Last but not least, yes, I'm running for president and the polls are open. I want you to vote for me because I think I have the vision where to take this organization. And you can do that, of course, online. To find out more about me, go to my website at www.forprez.com. I want to thank everybody for coming up on this bright and early morning to listen to what we have to say.